The India Times, not that it is the most reputable source, not to insult India Times, but they've written about this, and this is the Keys Predictor. This is, what is his name, Alan Lichtman. Alan Lichtman has predicted correctly, they say, every presidential victor since 1984 except for Al Gore. And I think it's actually, to be fair, that was a contested, disputed election that went down to the Supreme Court, so maybe he got it wrong. He's predicting likely a Kamala Harris victory so far. The criteria that he asks, simple true or false questions, are, in his mind, so far, leaning towards Kamala Harris. And I got to be honest, it's a guy who's good at guessing. I think his questions are absurd nonsense, but his intuition must be pretty good to get this many elections correct. So they say the $1 million question before the electorate is who's going to win. Alan Lichtman, who is an election forecaster, the professor that said who said that the key to the White House is with Kamala Kamala Harris, is also the Democrats' party's nominee. The prediction, which is made it in the present, blah blah blah. So it's leaning towards Kamala right now. His final prediction won't come until after the DNC. There's the Democrats who are likely to appoint Harris, blah blah blah. The Republicans, they say that she holds 6 keys, including primary contest, short-term economy, long-term economy, policy change, no scandal, no challenge or charisma. This is all utter nonsense. So a lot of people are actually saying, oh, this is brutal. This guy's predicting Kamala Harris. Man, that's bad for Trump. But let's break this down. On the 21st, professor who accurately predicted past elections says Biden can win. I'm going to go ahead and say you're wrong, Alan.
It gets even
way
worse.
wrong.
Is that the same professor?
Yeah.
Oh, it gets even worse.
Dynamite.
On June 30th, I sent you this. I'm just looking
Alan
at this while you
Lichtman?
talk. On June 30th in USA Today, historian who predicted 9 of the last 10 elections results says Democrats shouldn't drop Joe Biden.
I agree with them. They should have kept it.
This is the problem. When you make both A and not A predictions, you can just go back and select whichever one you want and say, I got it right. This guy sounds like a
There was
rock.
a famous post on Twitter, back when it was Twitter, not X, I'm not dead naming. And it said something like, I can't remember the sporting event, but it was like, football team is going to score the game-winning touchdown against this team in the Super Bowl with this amount of time left with this score. And it was made like a year before. And then it went viral after that happened. And everyone went, holy crap, how did he predict it? How do you think he predicted it?
He made 75 predictions.
He made like 700 posts.
Every possibility.
Of every, basically looking at the stats and the teams of all the things. And then every time a team got eliminated, he'd delete the post. And then all that was left was like 10 posts about what was going to happen. And then when it went down one way, he deleted everything else. So there was one left and everyone went, how did he do it?
Well, I would go back and want to see the publications that Lichtman put out back 20 years ago. It's a lot easier to burn a piece of paper.
Alan Lichtman, a history professor at American University who has accurately predicted past elections, said in an op-ed on Saturday that President Joe Biden can win against Donald Trump. No, he can't. Your prediction was wrong, sir. But let's pull up
the his record.
Yeah, his record must be bad.
Biden Lichtman can lick by.
This is the keys to the White House. Is a prediction system for determining the outcome of presidential elections in the United States. It was developed by Alan Lichtman and Russian geophysicist Vladimir Kailas-Borak in 1981. It's 13 questions, a checkpoint, that assesses a situation. So what are these? Let's start. Party mandate. After the midterm elections, the incumbent party holds more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives than after the previous midterm elections. So the incumbent party does not hold more seats. So that would be false. No primary contest. There is no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. Yes, there was. So okay. Incumbent seeking re-election, no third party. All right, let's do this. Let's jump down to the current predictions that he has for Kamala Harris. Party mandate. Does the incumbent party hold the House of Representatives? False. That's an easy true or false, right? No primary contest. True. What are you talking about? RFK Jr. and Dean Phillips, there was an absolute attempt at a primary. They just shut them out. So false. Incumbent seeking re-election.
False.
That one's funny.
No one believes that Kamala Harris was secretly running the country while Joe Biden.
Now look at this. No third party. Likely true. RFK Jr. is polling in double digits. So that's false. Short-term economy. Okay, I mean, this one becomes more subjective. But does anybody like, do the polls show people are confident in the economy right now?
No, I just skipped ahead. I'm sorry.
no.
I saw no social unrest. Likely true. What
What?
flipping world is this guy living in?
Hold on. Let's play this game, okay? Here you go. How would you rate the condition of the national economy right now? For all groups, 37% fairly bad, 27% fairly good, 23% fairly bad.
It looks like it's going down.
We're looking at 60% in the bad category. So when we jump over here and they're like, short-term economy is good. Most people are saying the short-term economy is really, really bad. Strong long-term economy. I don't know, again, how you break those apart, but how are these true? It's false and false. Major policy change. To be fair, I probably give that one true because Kamala has no record. No social unrest. There was massive protests and riots and occupations over Israel only a few months ago. So, yes, social unrest. No scandal. Are you kidding? Biden just dropped out.
We still have the month of August.
So we're looking at false. No foreign or military
How are we
failure.
defining that part?
False. Israel, Russia, Ukraine. Major foreign or military success. False. There's nothing. Charismatic incumbent. False. Agreed. Uncharismatic challenger. True. Are you nuts? Trump may be one of the most charismatic presidents challenging we've ever seen. The entire thing should be false. Predicting a Donald Trump victory.
Just pumped his fist and said, fight after
This is-
dodging a bullet.
It's not Joe Rogan gets out.
Mark Zuckerberg.
No, Joe Rogan gets out every week practically talking about how Trump is a good stand-up comic in his delivery. I mean, he's
When he walks into UFC, the place erupts.
This is, I mean, first of all, I think Lichtman now is full of Schlichtman, and I would like to go back and see. I think he's been lying throughout his career, but it's easy to, like, you know, when you go back and refer to the article where he said any one of things, and 9 out of 10, he's amazing.
As soon as he said Biden could win, they should just be like, yeah, he's gone. Like, your predictions are done because...
Time to go back to the octopus.
Here's the interesting thing. There's no incumbent, right? Incumbent seeking re-election, false. These shouldn't even apply to Kamala Harris, who's an unknown. So, like, you are not dealing with an incumbent versus a challenger, but I love that he put uncharismatic challenger true. Donald Trump, who people can't shut up about.
Except for never-Trumpers, right? Never-Trumpers are always like, well, he's so brash and he's gross.
so
and
weird, he
just
doesn't
yells,
laugh.
Weird, not Brad. But, you know, so I can understand where, like, obviously this is false, but I can understand where someone who just doesn't like Trump has said, like, no, he's not charismatic because they're deluding themselves. I think the no primary contest is interesting because, you know, no one has been allowed to challenge Kamala Harris. I mean, it was really fall in line immediately behind Kamala Harris. She wasn't actually involved in the actual primary.
Installed.
When people were casting ballots, she wasn't on the ticket as the front or as the top of the ticket.
Her polling numbers are pretty good for someone who was just installed at the last minute by party elites.
The polling numbers are nonsense. It's a question of manufacturing consent and not reflecting reality. But I just went to his Twitter feed. His title is Distinguished Professor of History, American University, author of 12 books.
Wow.
This is crazy. It says no third party is turned false when there is a major candidate other than the nominees of the Democrats and the Republicans. RFK Jr. is in the double digits.
But they refuse to acknowledge him as a major candidate. I mean, there's really resistance to acknowledging that he could have an impact on the election.
Do you think he makes it to November?
Yeah, well, he might endorse Trump. I do think it's a possibility. It says for upcoming elections, key fours turn false when a single third-party candidate consistently polls at 10% or more, indicating they're likely to receive 5% or more of the national popular vote. Perhaps because he's running as an independent. Didn't Ross Perot run as an independent?
Ross Perot ran as an independent.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they're not mentioning RFK Jr. right now. No scandal. When there is bipartisan recognition of serious impropriety directly linked to the president, Biden's debate performance was panned by both parties. Look, if this guy's prediction with Kamala Harris turns out to be correct, then it's all fake.
There was no scandal for Obama?
Oh yeah, he was
no
a scandal
major scandal
there
where
was
he
no major bipartisan
where he was
this?
directly connected. That
You don't
there
think
was plenty of
what is
Obama
Fast and
scandals,
Furious?
but-
The Fast and the Furious, the sicking the IRS on the Tea
second
Party.
term now?
those were
But
not- he was not
bipartisan.
directly
So
connected.
bipartisan. The point
Right.
they're making is that when both parties blame the president for something, both parties have attacked Joe Biden for being mentally incompetent and unfit to the point where he dropped out of the race. Biden could not win. And now perhaps they're saying Kamala.
You do
Kamala's
see,
got no scandal.
Well, House Democrats
see-
joined Republicans in voting to say that Biden and Harris were responsible for the crisis at the border, and I would consider that a pretty big scandal.
Here, let's not manufacture the scandal. Let's just make sure that it materializes. Republicans file impeachment proceedings against Kamala Harris for dereliction of duty at the border and for lying about Joe Biden's fitness for office. She participated in covering up Joe Biden's mental unfitness and knowingly basically planning to steal his 14 million votes. Impeachable. So you can impeach her on two things. She'll never get convicted, but that's a legit scandal.
Scandal where she's directly connected. I think it's weird that Republicans have been trying to make this case that somehow she's guilty for this giant cover-up, but it hasn't really taken root.
Here's what I love. If you look at the civics polling and you choose 18 to 34, 67% are in the bad category. Only 28% of 18 to 34-year-olds think the economy is good. But let's play this. What do you think will happen if I pick Democrat? Anybody?
How would you rate the condition of the national economy right now if you pick Democrat? And then we have to go with those options.
Fairly good.
Say 39% say fairly
Well, you don't
good.
get it, but just like, do you think it'll be, the plurality will be that it's good?
I don't think so.
Or bad?
I don't think so.
Let's find out. Democrats, 49, look at that. Absolutely
Well, it's still not
incredible.
50%. Still not 50%.
But well, that's 49% fairly good and 27% very
22.
good. So 22. So they're at
Oh, man. Why would they put that underneath?
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? That's how they did fairly good and very good. So only 24% of Democrats think the economy is bad right now.
Mm-hmm. It's because the bounce back from COVID.
What do you think Republicans are going to say? Oh, it's going to be like, dude,
Very
it's so
bad.
bad.
Well, you can
Very
average
bad.
it out now that you know the
Bang. 64. Now, let's play this game. If 18 to 34-year-olds are more likely to align with the Republican view of things, I wonder what that says about their leanings this election. And let's jump to independent. Independent voters, of course, they're going to say it's bad. There's no question, because Democrats live in Wally world.
Well, you can imagine.
Just show your friends and family this. Be like, dude, if you're sitting here and you're saying that Kamala Harris is fine, Biden is fine, the economy's doing great, ask yourself why Republicans and independents both agree the economy is bad to large numbers.
I bet you that's the demographics of who statistically is more likely to be a Democrat. It's going to be young people who now see the prospect of student debt loan being forgiven. It's young people who are not necessarily paying taxes out the wazoo or have a family to support. And as you get older, you get more conservative, and then you realize these things really have an impact. So it just might be the demographics. Young people tend to be Democrat and are totally oblivious to what's actually going on in the
I wish it was broken down to who's a parent and who's not.
You might be able
You and
to.
JD Vance
Is it the childless cat ladies?
No, or who
The
works for the
economy's
government?
good?
Well, yeah, that's
Who works for the government and who doesn't?
There may actually be like an advanced internal thing when you sign up for the crosstabs, but let's do men and women. Let's do men and women. What do you think men say about the economy?
Men are going to be more tend to be very bad, fairly bad, and women fairly good.
Yeah, so 35% of men say it's in the good category, and then you have 37 saying very bad, 25 saying fairly bad. Among women, it's fairly comparable.
Okay.
Fairly comparable. What do you think about racial breakdown? White people say that it is mostly bad. 41 very bad, 24 fairly bad, and only, what do we have, 32 saying it's in the good range. Black or African American think it's actually good right now. Fairly good. That's interesting, because I have to wonder, we know that the Democrats are really worried about losing this vote. It may be that they're intentionally prioritizing the black community with programs trying to earn those votes. Hispanic and Latino think it's actually bad. And other, I appreciate that Asians fall into other, and they think it's bad as well.
Do you have a religion drop tab there?
There's not.
Let's get politically incorrect while we're
There's
at it.
college degrees.
What do the immigrants think?
Postgraduates.
Oh no, do college degrees, because I guarantee is going to be way skewed in the fairly good, very good.
It's like
for those
50-50.
Nothing like.
It's like 50-50.
forget
33 saying fairly good, 14 very good.
Go to postgraduate.
I am postgraduate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, postgraduates are fairly split. Seems pretty down the middle. College graduates, looks like they're leaning towards it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And non-college graduates probably going to say it's the apocalypse. Yeah, they say it's really bad. That's interesting. 65 plus, they're having an okay time, but they still think it's mostly bad. Everybody seems to think the economy is bad.
1834. Do 18. Did we do that already?
Yeah. They think it's bad. Very bad. 67%. So I'm just looking at basically every group except for Black Americans think the economy is very, very bad. How could they claim that the economy is good for Kamala Harris right now for her to win?
Yeah, that's pretty stunning for good old Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Hey,
Probably
rest in
has like
peace.
tenure, right? So he's just like, I don't know. It seems fine to me. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.